All right, we're going to kick it off here. Thank you all for coming. I hope you're enjoying the ton of Chick-fil-A that we brought. We're happy that we had so many people here enjoying it. Thank you all for coming. As we always kick off all of our AI Club events, we always have to start it off with some announcements. But thank you coming to our intro to our hands-on projects. For today, we're going to be learning a lot about what projects we host here in AI Club, what they look like, what the outcomes are, and everything you can learn from them. And to kick it off, as many as you've probably heard a ton of times, that the career fair is coming up next week, Wednesday and Thursday night. The career fair is happening, so that means no AI Club event next Thursday, because we encourage all of you to go to the career fair next week, talk about the different clubs that you've joined, talk about your different projects you've participated in, get yourself an experience. And even if you don't want to talk to any companies there, just go and get your professional photo taken. If you look around MSOE on LinkedIn or anywhere else, you see so many students with photos set up that look really professional, and a lot of them, including myself, have got it taken at the career fair. But you're thinking, I just made a resume, I don't really know how to put it all together. Well, on Monday, we're actually hosting a resume blitz. We're taking just engineers from a bunch of different companies are going to come in and talk about how to develop your resume a little bit better, and they're going to sit down with you one-on-one and talk about the resume. We have people from Milwaukee Tool, the director of AI from Direct Supply. We have people from Astronautics. We have people from Associated Bank. We have people from Brady Corp. A ton of different companies are coming in to come support that event and give you feedback. And this is a great event to talk to these engineers right before. At the career fair, it's the same thing. You're talking to these companies, places that want to hire you. These companies are coming because they want to hire you too. They want to talk to you beforehand, and they want to get first access to all the incredible AI Club students. So it's a great chance to improve your resume, talk to some companies early, and get the nerves out, get some experience before the real deal on Wednesday and Thursday. And as we've been presenting for a ton of weeks now, is the NVIDIA DLI, where if you haven't heard of this before, and we've talked about it in a ton of our other events, it's a great way to learn AI for the first time. It's the way I learned it. It's a 5-hour workshop from NVIDIA where they give you the introduction of how to even use AI in programming, starting from the ground up with no expectations. It's great for freshmen. I think we already have 100 students signed up for this event, so we're great to see so many more going to be able to come out. Dr. Riley's bringing free pizza, and you get a LinkedIn certification that you're going to be able to put on your LinkedIn, and all those people you talk at the career fair are going to be really impressed by that. But wrapping up the announcements, what are we really here for today? Talking about AI Club and our hands-on projects. And if you have any questions throughout this entire event, feel free to raise your hand. And if you ask any question, you can come up here afterwards or during and just grab a piece of merch right here in front of me. We have balloons, frisbees, even AI Club t-shirts and candy. But you're starting off, the first question you have is about these AI Club projects. Why should I care? Why is this something that matters to me? Well, there's really 3 ways to break it down. You have your network of being in this project and working with students, the portfolio piece of developing a project, as well as the skills. And we're going to dive into each of those individually. So for your network, you're learning from other motivated students. You're not working by yourself on a project, and you're not just working in classes where you're turning something in. You're working on students with students that want to learn. You're going to build up each other and learn a ton on the way. You're all starting from a similar playing field, and you're all going to learn a ton. As well as you're getting access to a skilled mentor. They've been in your shoes. They've been in the places where they don't have a ton of coding experience. Like myself, who's a mentor this year, and I came in my freshman year with not a ton of coding experience, and you're able to come in and meet a lot of people, learn a ton, and get ahead. Talking about getting ahead, a great portfolio piece. You can create a really unique and impressive project using skills and AI technologies that you wouldn't even learn until your later years in classes, even if you're a CS major. For any other major, these are stuff you might not even touch that you're able to access as early as your freshman year and use a ton. And when you're at this career fair that's coming up, how do you distinct yourself from the other 30 people that you're in your classes? It's the side projects. The things that we're talking about here in AI Club today are the things that really matter, are going to help you land an internship right after your freshman year. And this all comes together and really feeds into skills, the thing that you really need to build up the most. Like I mentioned, you have to get ahead in your classes and use things that you won't even touch till your junior, senior year, and get expert level knowledge in a growing field that's going to stay around for a long time. And that's what we really promote here in AI Club, and we've talked about this graphic a ton here before of our research groups and innovation labs are a top-down format, where in your MSOE classes, they bring you up and the basics. They teach you how to code, they teach you the really bare bone basics, even as a computer science student or software engineer, and they build you up year by year. But in AI Club, we're throwing you off the cliff. You're hitting your head a few times, you're breaking things, you might not pick up everything, but you're learning at a such faster rate and using technologies that you're not using right away, and those really converge together and help you develop really great skills as early as possible. But now this really wraps up the section of why should I care? But now you're thinking, I'm a little motivated, I do care. Well, how does it work? And that really comes down to three similar formats like we had previously: a mentorship, schedule, and hands-on projects. Like I mentioned previously, you're going to be working with a mentor. Your team has students with dedicated AI skills. They've been in your feet, they know how it works, they've done these projects before, they've learned a ton in the past, and they're ready to teach you all those learnings as fast as possible so they can build you up even faster than they were able to build themselves up earlier. And they're going to be there to help you with providing you direction in these projects, providing some tasks, because we know you're hungry, you know you want to learn, but maybe you don't know what directions you want to go into, where you want to learn, and they're there to help you with that. And maybe you're in a sport, maybe you can't make it to these AI Club meetings all the time on Thursday nights, and there's a special occasion that you're out here today. Or some of your friends couldn't make it tonight and you want them to sign up for projects, but you're not sure if they can join a project. Well, that's the great part about these schedules. Since you're working in a small team of students, and we don't have to accommodate for all the over 100 people here today, is that your team can work together to find a schedule that works for you and your team. Like over the past years, I've met on Tuesday nights, I've met on Tuesday mornings, I've met on Sundays. It's just whatever works with your team, whatever works around everyone's busy schedule, and you can all work together and learn as best as possible. And the big and final point is these projects require time. These are hands-on. And we're not saying this is easy. These projects aren't, you're just going to show up and you're going to learn everything and you're going to get $1 million job. That's not what we're saying. We're saying you put in that effort, you put in the time, like so many students here today, so many students in the past have done and learned so much out of it. And if you put in that time, you learn a ton, you will not fade in the background. You will stand out, you will be the star, and you'll be able to show off all of your skills and have great projects. And all those things together, having a great mentor, a great schedule, and being hands-on is really what we try to prioritize in our research groups and innovation labs. And this is really how you can apply this. Our two different options that we mentioned briefly in our kickoff event 2 weeks ago. But today we're going to go in a little bit more depth of what they look like and reiterate some of those points previously. So our research groups are about 4 hours a week compared to our innovation labs are about 2 hours of commitment in the meetings and out of the meetings. So our research groups are a little bit more high caliber where they're targeted for students that have a bit more coding experience. And that reflects in the projects they're working on. In a research group, your goal is to make a novel AI publication. You want something that's never been done before. You want to work with the team over a longer time period, we'll talk about that soon, and really go for that publication, writing an AI paper to go to regional conferences, to go participate in ROSI. Where in innovation labs, you're going to be looking at the business side. You're going to be maybe looking at a problem that might have already been solved in general, but applying it to a specific domain, where your goal is to win cash prizes, and we'll talk about a ton of cash there are soon, and get recommendations, like even better LinkedIn certificates that we'll talk about soon. And diving more deep into what innovations labs look like, because that's what so many students here today are going to want to join. And I really encourage as many of you, if you've never even coded before in your past, I really encourage it's something you join. Because it promotes three main things. You're working together in a team to solve challenging problems. You can join as a freshman. We've had so many teams that were freshmen ran with a group of freshmen that have been finalists, placed top 3 and done incredibly well, and come out with a ton of internships in the past years. And it's a lower technical floor. So compared to our research groups, and that's a big thing why we introduced those, is because we wanted a lower technical floor where you didn't need to know a ton to come into it. You can come in with any knowledge and learn a ton over a shorter period of time. And the big kicker for so many students here today, and of course, the biggest motivating factor is money. There's $6,000 a prize pool for just this upcoming innovation lab that we're going to talk about more soon, provided by an industry sponsor that we're about to reveal officially in just a second. And looking up here, just at that bottom photo, is the Innovation Labs in the fall that we hosted last year with Brady Corp. We had a ton of students work together and learn a ton. But what are these Innovation Labs? What is a hackathon? And how does it look like for this Innovation Lab? So what we're really looking at for a hackathon is 3 main checkpoints. You're going to start, and there's going to be a big kickoff day. That's going to be happening in 2 weeks, and we'll talk about a little bit more about that right at the end, where you're going to hear about the hackathon theme, hear from the sponsor and everything like that, where during the event, you're going to be spread out for 2 months, where we're going to build a creative yet effective solution. We're going to be combining technologies and business domain knowledge, combine those all together. We're going to be able to build an incredible solution that at the end of the hackathon, you're going to be able to showcase your work and win a ton of money. And really what that timeline looks like is, if you draw it out here, where from now until October 9th, is we're going to be releasing an interest form of how to sign up and what it looks like to be an innovation lab, and defines all of that out. And then we're going to be kicking off the projects. We're going to be putting you in a group with interested students all together with a great mentor, and you're going to be able to work together, and then we'll do a big kickoff. That's the start day on October 9th. Where then during those 2-month period, you're going to have a midway checkpoint, working with your mentor, working with the company, and then all come together right at the end for a prize day on December 6th, where we have a ton of food. It's a great event to hear about other people's projects, their solutions, talk with the company more. But you hear all that. Let's get to the actual start of this. Well, like I just mentioned earlier, there will be a sign-up form today. And it will go through like a form that you've seen before, like you fill out the attendance form. It's going to talk about things, a ton of different things, and we'll link this in the Teams as well. And this is something that if your friends aren't here today, this form will be open for 2 weeks. And you'll be able to join, be with your friends, send this to anyone else that's interested. And like it says here, you have till October 6th to decide. So it's 2 Mondays from now. So you have a big time to figure out what groups you want to put together or what friends you want to put together. And then we'll put you in groups with people. Even if you're just by yourself and you want to join, that's completely encouraged. And we put you in a group. We'll be able to work with a ton of motivated students together. And this form is really used to put you in a team with your best interests and your best chance of success. We put people with similar skill sets that are able to mentor yourself all up together. So you're not going to be paired against all group of freshmen with no coding experience and all group of seniors with a ton of coding experience. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to distribute the skill sets so that everybody has a great chance to win and really your best chance of success. Where once this form is all collected, we'll split you off in a ton of different groups. And then, on the kickoff day, you'll be hearing from Zorbix, our sponsor of this upcoming Innovation Lab, and they're a local consulting company here in Milwaukee. And in 2 weeks from now, they're going to be coming and talking about how the projects look like and everything how that is. And the biggest thing, like I mentioned, they're going to be giving $6,000. And what's almost as good as $6,000? Food. They're not just providing money, they're providing food for these events as well. They're providing the theme, the domain of their industry-specific solution, and the different problems in there as well as the mentorship. Where when you're in these innovation labs, you're going to be working on a ton of different projects. We're going to be able to work with your team and pick something on your interests, where we're not assigning you to a specific part, but there's multiple different projects that you can pick from, where then you can use based off your skill set, pick one that you enjoy, and then work together and actually get to work with a mentor from Zorbix. They'll be there to answer a ton of different questions. So you have your student mentor from MSUE that knows a lot about AI, but they might not know a lot about Zorbix. So we pair you with a mentor from Zorbix that'll be there to set up meetings with you guys once in a while, answer any late night questions, and really just understand the domain of Zorbix so your solution's not only technically advanced, but also has great business implications. So how does it look like during the event? What does that really mean? Well, like I mentioned before, it's the theme. But what is the theme of Zorbix? And it's AI automations for manufacturing, health, and insurance operations. Where I said it's a ton of different projects on a ton of different domains. Where they're a consulting company, so they work on different things. Where if you're interested in health, you can go work on a health project. You're interested in manufacturing, you're able to work on a manufacturing problem, and there's a ton of different options where you and your team can pick something that you're interested in. We're not assigning you to one of these projects. You pick what you enjoy. And if you really want to get ahead of the game and look at some other projects as well, or even mention our learning tree, you can always head over to our website and just Google MSOE AI Club. It'll be the first thing that pops up. And it'll talk about a ton of our past projects, talk about different things like that. And you can even look at the learning tree where we had in our last event, where you're able to access Rosie, you're able to learn about how to code, how to use Python, how to use any of these AI models. We have a ton of things preset for you, or even looking at the library here, looking at a ton of different people's research and things like that. Where in last week's meeting, we showed you how to get fast Rosie access. And if you weren't able to make it to that meeting, or you weren't able to get access during that meeting, you can go back through that learning tree that we just showed and sign up. And it's super quick. It takes as much time as it did during that meeting, maybe even less, where you just request and sign in. But what do you get at the end? We said $6,000, we said food. How does that really split up? How does it work for all these teams competing? Well, it's broken down into simple first, second, and third prizes, where even the third place teams is able to walk away with $1,000. The second place team walks away with $2,000 and 4 AI Club points, where the third place had 3. And then the first place team has $3,000 and 5 AI Club points. We're able to purchase merch, purchase a ton of different things like that. And on top of that, all competitors, not even people that just placed, all competitors get a LinkedIn certification that's showing they competed at a hackathon. They presented, they did super well, and it's a great thing to show off to people that are interviewing you, people at the career fair and all those different things like that. Well, on the left, you can see a photo from our AI Club website that shows off these past innovation labs. And even on the photo on the right, one of the people from AI Club that participated in both innovation labs that has this on their LinkedIn. And this is a great way to show off your work. And it's something that's a kind of a wow factor when people look at your LinkedIn, where it's not very normal for someone to have that. But now that we have this, you see Juno, you see Brady Corp. What did the past ones look like? Where we worked with 2 companies in the last fall and the last spring, where Brady Corp sponsored our first ever innovation lab last year that went super well. And they worked on a manufacturing pipeline where we looked at computer vision, looking at the images of products and seeing how they flowed in their manufacturing pipeline, as well as Juno, a startup from MSOE that looks in the tax realm of AI, trying to automate and save time for CPAs or accountants. Now you're thinking, I'm really hooked here. What can I do in these hands-on projects? Well, we talked about our research groups being 4 hours a week with novel publications, and our innovation labs being 2 hours a week with business and prize recommendations, where we really dove into innovation labs there and how those work. But let's dive into how our research groups look. Our research group is being a part of an ambitious team of students. We're working together to write something novel. You really put in the work to do something that's never been done before. We're going to be able to write an AI publication and even have a chance of winning big at the Rosie competition. And of course, build your teamwork skills in a professional setting. Where at the past Rosie competition, and we've talked about this at a ton of different events, we were all 5 finalists. So if you want to do well in the Rosie competition, this is the way to do it. It's join these projects, learn a ton, and get ahead. That's how you're able to learn a ton. And so many students are writing a ton of these papers together, where you're able to get experience in writing papers or reading papers is something you don't really see in your classes as an undergraduate student. Over 6 months of incredible team experience, of an incredibly impressive research paper that you're able to show recruiters, or even if you're interested in grad school, is something as an option as well. And you're putting in all this work in a research group, over 6 months, a bit higher time commitment. What do you get out of that? On top of this, on top of the prize money, on top of the resume piece, you can even do this 4-credit research work, where for the same project that you're doing for your AI Club research group, you can work with the professor and as well as get that to replace a class. Take out one of your electives, your technical electives or anything like that, and come in and do something you're interested in. Go in a domain that you're really passionate about and learn a ton. Work with the professor to give you even better advice. Well, this was something I did last semester. And it was something that a ton of other students did here as well, and they learned a ton and was able to get ahead and get some great one-on-one feedback with the professor. Where just last year, we had 15 research groups across 94 researchers with 9 AI publications. These were 9 papers that got published and were incredibly professional, where last year we had the best research paper at Mix, and 4 of the research groups were our Rosie finalists, and the 5th one was one of our students' capstone projects, his senior design, where he worked together and worked on a project, but he's been a mentor in AI Club a ton of times before. And breaking it down to what our commitment really looks like here as a student, what it really means to be in an AI club as a student, as a mentor, and how that split really works, because it's all MSW students. We're students, it's a little bit less time during the meetings, sometime outside of it, we're working on projects, with a mentor setting up and guiding those meetings at the start, as well as putting some work outside. And with a student, you can come in and you can just be hungry. There's no need to generate an idea, because all these mentors spent the summer thinking about ideas that they were able to put together and ensure that everyone's on track in a motivating domain. And of course, you're able to work on a time of meeting that works best for everyone in your group and that works best for your team and makes it so you all can work together and be as hands-on and in person as possible. And just like we showed over the innovation labs, this is the timeline for our research groups, where we're just going to post the same interest forum, but for research groups, we're going to be talking about a bunch of things like that, where in 2 weeks, just like the innovation lab, we're going to have a huge kickoff for that event as well. And we're going to have our first group, then you're going to meet with your mentor, meet with your team on your own time, have your first group meeting and everything like that. And then after working on this for months, and we'll have some check-ins, have some events where we can touch base, then you present at Mix, which Mix is a regional AI conference that MSOE dominates. So this past year, we went to Minnesota and we presented on a bunch of different papers. You submit it, you can win their best undergraduate paper, as well as just meet a bunch of students that are also interested in this domain. And as well as what so many people here want to win is a Rosie competition, where we've had a ton of students that have thrived and super well in it. And it's just a great way to dive in and build something cool. But I've been up here for so long, talking for so long about how all this is great, how much you can learn from it, how it's useful to you. But let's hear directly from some of our mentors from this year. They're going to talk about their experiences, how it's helped them, and everything they've learned from it. And if you have any questions throughout this, right at the end, we'll have them all present by themselves. And then right after that, we'll be here for any questions that you have for any of them. And they'll also be here afterwards for a little bit if you have any questions as well. And I'll hand it off to Travis to start off here. And he's going to talk about his experiences. Thanks, Brett.
So my name is Travis. For those who don't know me, I competed in both innovation labs last year, and I'll be mentoring in this year's upcoming innovation lab. So a little bit of background about me. I was a software engineer intern at Cognex for 3 years, and I got that opportunity from the fall career fair of my freshman year. So like Brett said, highly recommend you go to that career fair. Even if you have no experience, there's always a good opportunity to talk to employers. And then this year I started as an AI engineer at Juno. And you might be familiar with Juno. They were formerly TruePrep. They hosted last year's Innovation Lab in the spring. So my team competed in the Brady Corp Innovation Lab, where we did a lot of computer vision tasks. So we had freshmen, we had juniors, we had seniors, we had all sorts of people. And we were able to learn a lot about computer vision, image segmentation, classification, regression, all of those things. And then at the Juno Innovation Lab in the spring, we learned a lot about agentic AI, natural language processing, and large language models, which are all the rage today. So that was a great experience. And yeah, my job as a mentor for the Innovation Lab is really just to provide a roadmap for the team and make sure that you have all the resources that you need to make progress, no matter where you're starting from. So yeah, that's kind of the idea behind the Innovation Lab and what my role is.
Thanks, Travis. And he's just one of the many students that have gotten hired at our innovation labs. So it's not just about the prize money. It's a mini interview. You spend 2 months working on these projects, spend 2 months working with these business professionals at these sponsor companies. It's a great way to get your face out there, show off your skills, and get hired. They are here because they want to hire you. Show off your skills and get hired, and you can do incredible. Up next is Leigh, and they're going to talk about their experiences of being a mentor a couple times.
Hi, if y'all don't know me, I'm Leigh, and I've participated in the research groups last year and this year. Last year, I was a research group member for a project that we ended up calling Sign Sage, which is basically like monkey type, but for practicing ASL fingerspelling. And then last year, I mentored a group that worked on teaching a robot how to play a game. So it was applying reinforcement learning to a competitive robotics application. And my experiences with the research groups have been pretty good. Last year, my job was basically to kind of keep finding resources for people and keep people on track. If we were not going to complete something in time, how are we going to pivot, that sort of thing. Really trying to make sure everybody's having a good time, learning things, and that we get our project done, right? The research groups have helped me in employment. That most recently, I was able to use a lot of my experiences, especially with the hackathons, to talk about in interviews, and I was able to land a job at NASA for the summer. So that was a lot of fun, and I don't think I would have been able to like talk about all of this project experience, things that aren't on here, like the hackathons, the Hacksgiving. Those were incredibly helpful in being able to learn new technologies really fast too. So.
Thank you, Leigh. And you don't just hear it from me about how these projects, help you get internships, help you explain projects better in your interviews. You can hear it from our mentors and past mentees as well about how this has helped them a ton and, land a job at an incredible place like NASA. I mean, what a cool place to work at. Up next here is Sydney, who's actually an alumni that has been a mentor a few times, been a mentee in a bunch of different projects, and she's going to talk about how her experiences have helped her out a ton, even pivot out of the role of being a pure developer.
Yep. Thank you for the intro, Brett. My name is Sydney. I graduated last May with a degree in computer engineering, and now I work full-time at Direct Supply as a product owner, specifically more with AI and SaaS products. And what you'll notice is neither of those things have anything to do with the degree I graduated with. So how the heck did I end up getting that role with a computer engineering degree? Well, I attribute that to the AI Club, in all honesty. I joined my sophomore year with no knowledge of Python or AI and did a research group. That was actually the project on the, what would that be? Your left-hand side on the screen here, where we took 2 perpendicular x-rays and turned that into a 3D CT scan. Nothing near the requirements you need to actually use this in healthcare, but it was a really cool project, and that's how I learned Python and got used to AI. From there, I've worked on a couple more research projects. I've done 3 total. I've also mentored a handful of times too. The other project I have up here is just another really cool one. I worked with a group on collecting data on food and food security and used the commodity data to predict when there might be periods of time where certain at-risk countries would not have food. And with those predictions, labeling them as like severe or okay, just to help give countries a sense of when they need to start preparing to have more food around when there could be hard times. And I actually got to partner with the United Nations on that project, which was really cool, particularly the Food and Agriculture Organization. Very neat. They're very slow to reply on emails, I can tell you that, but that was a cool project and looks very good on a resume. So I guess what I'll say in summary here is it's a great way by doing research groups, innovation labs to get experience with AI, even if you're not a CS major. I did a data science minor. I found I was actually ahead of a lot of the CS majors when going into that because I had the Python experience through AI Club. And I'm not trying to poop on CS majors here, but I'm just saying like this is a way to get very early experience with Python and other AI skills. And along with that, being a mentor, I got practice with leading a group, building a roadmap, as Travis said, and just helping prioritize different features, which leans more into that business side product owner role, where my job is to help decide, like make decisions on whether we move forward with certain products and how to prioritize certain features on them, blah, blah, blah. So very good skills you can learn by being in an AI club, both technical, and you can also get closer to some business skills, as Brett has been saying too with innovation labs. 100% recommend it. Last bit of advice I'll give you too, because I'm just feeling very inspirational and a little uncup here, honestly, being graduated, but That is, if you feel uncomfortable with joining a research group or mentoring, that's even more of a sign to start doing that. If you're uncomfortable, that means you have room to grow. And do not let being uncomfortable get in the way of you growing the skills and getting more comfortable in the future. You're not going to magically get more and more comfortable by not doing it. So that is the biggest lesson I learned throughout college, and I've just found that to be very helpful moving on into my career too. So thank you. Hopefully that was helpful advice, and I'll hand it back to Brett.
Thank you. Thank you, Leigh, Travis, and Sydney. Can we just do one more round of applause for all of them coming and help up here? And these are just 3 of the hungry students that we have come in through many years of our AI Club projects, and they've really applied themselves. They know that if they want to get ahead, they want to learn a ton, this is how you can do it. It's a great pipeline to work with friends, learn a ton, meet some new people, and meet some other upperclassmen. It's just a great way to build yourself and be uncomfortable, learn a lot from it. And thank you all for coming up, and you all can go sit down if you'd like. And before we show off what signing up really looks like, we're just going to reiterate, of course, what innovation labs, what research groups look like, which ones should you join, and which ones are the outcomes of them. So if research groups, if you have some coding knowledge, you want to put in more time commitment, you have some experience with projects, with coding, anything like that, and you really want to dive into the theory behind it, write a paper and different things like that, we recommend joining a research group. If you have a little bit less time, a little bit shorter timeline of just only being 2 months, you don't have any experience, you're just coming in with nothing, or if you want to do a more business-focused problem, you can still have a ton of experience and want to do something that's more industry-focused if you're not more interested in the research and industry and the business side is more interesting to you. I'd recommend the innovation labs, where of course we have a ton of prizes and recommendations that you're able to join. But what does signing up really look like? Well, in just a few minutes here, we're going to be showing you one of our the sign-up form, the QR codes for being able to join these projects. Where for our innovation labs, it's just going to give a little bit of a high level of what they look like, how to join them, what your mentor are going to look like, and different things like that. And the 2 big things, the questions that are most important to you, is you can put in there if anyone that you're interested in working with, a mentor that you've talked before, or even friends that you've met here, met in your classes, anyone else that you're able to put down as well. And we're really trying to put you together with people that you're going to have your highest chance for success. Like we spoke about earlier, we want you to do great. We're not trying to harm you with this sign-up form. We want you to do well, and we want you to thrive. And as well for our research groups, we're going to ask you a bit more questions because our innovation labs, when you all meet together, you decide what project you all want to work on. But with our research groups, our mentors have decided the projects already, and you get to slot in the areas that you're interested in. So on top of the same questions that we ask you for the innovation lab, we're going to ask you a couple things of, what rank things on the best of your knowledge. What areas you're most interested in? Do you like looking at images? Like computer vision? Do you looking at text, like natural language processing and large language models, and a ton of different things like that? So we're able to put you in a project that you're going to be most interested in and that you're going to excel in the most. And of course, you're able to work with your friends in that as well. So right here are the 3 QR codes. From going left to right, it's the research groups, which are more our advanced projects. Our innovation labs, sign-ups in the middle, they're more beginner-friendly. And as well as you're interested in being a mentor and you've been through this pipeline before, you've been on AI Club projects, and you want to be a mentor for the projects, as well as the sign-up there on the right. All of these forums will be posted in the Teams. We'll put posters up all around campus with all 3 of these QR codes. So if any of your friends don't see this tonight, it's not just people here that are going to be able to see it. Yeah, Zach. So innovation labs look around a bit bigger than the groups because you're working with a team of students that's a bit less experienced. So you're working with the mentor that's able to build you up a lot more. So those are going to be around 9 to 10 students for the signups, depending on how many people join. That might change by 1 or 2, of course. And then the research groups are a bit smaller, about 4 to 6 to 7 students. So research groups are a bit smaller, big time range. So that's about how it looks, yeah. So it seems like a few more people are still trying to scan. If you're not able to do it, I will post this in the Teams if the QR code isn't working too well. It seems most of you have it, but this will be in the Teams right after the meeting, so don't feel bad about it. And I recommend taking some time to fill out this form and to read into it. It's going to take you just a couple minutes, but I recommend, if you're after this and you haven't finished it during this meeting, just take a minute to read through it, read all the questions, and put a bit of an effort into it, because this is really going to determine how we place you into projects over the next couple months. And like I highlighted a couple times, throughout this presentation, we're in our hands-on project celebration October 9th. So that's 2 weeks from today, where you're going to be able to meet your mentor and the teammates for the first time. We're going to be releasing all of the teams, what all that looks like, and you'll meet with your mentor that'll be there to introduce themselves for the first time. You're going to see the problem statement and the rubric for the innovation labs, because I only talked about, the domain of it. I didn't really dive into what that all looks like. That's because you're going to be able to meet the Zorbix team themselves. The CEO and CTO are going to be coming in and talking about why they're motivated in this domain, what it looks like, everything like that, talking about the projects, how you can connect with them, how they can hire you, a ton of different things like that. And of course, the best thing ever, free food. And maybe the second best thing ever, because you'll also be learning more about how you can get a ton of AI Club merch, where being part of our research groups and innovation labs, you get access to our researcher polos and our researcher hoodies, where for our research groups, and you're able to go to Mix and you get one of our research polos, and if you submit to Rosie or Mix and you attend those, you get a whole researcher hoodie, where you see myself on with just a normal AI Club hoodie, but you see a ton of other people around campus wearing our polos, our quarter zips, t-shirts, and hoodies. We have a ton of merch. We want to spread it around to our most dedicated students, and we just want to see a ton of you enjoying it. And so thank you all for coming, and I really appreciate as many of you coming. See, there's no QR code here today. That's because signing up for a project is your attendance point for today. You sign up for a project, that is your attendance point. So I'm happy to be here and answer any more questions that I can. And if anyone has anything, I'll be here for a ton more time after this, but I can answer any more general ones right now if anyone wants to raise their hand. Yeah, so for our research groups, since those are 6 months, we usually don't let people join those right away or during the middle of the year. But our innovation labs, we actually host those twice a year. So we have one that's from now until December. That's the one that's upcoming at Zorbix. But we're in talks with a ton of different companies that are really interested in sponsoring one for the spring. So that'll start early second semester and late second semester as well. And so if you want to join a project later in the year, you're able to do that as well. But we, of course, really recommend you joining them. Get your feet wet right away, because, of course, you gotta learn a little bit. You gotta put yourself out there to learn a ton. Yeah, if you have your idea for your own project, you can actually put that on the forums as well. If you have something, we'll try to slot you in a project that's as similar as possible. All right. Thank you all for coming. I assume that there's no more questions. Thank you all for coming. I see so many great people are here tonight. I appreciate that, and thank you all. It's great to see you all, and I will be here answering as many questions as possible. And thank you all for coming. Have a great rest of your night.